Okay, here goes my 5 tigrid inverters. Okay, the 2 top ones right here are 2000 watts, and these 3 little ones are 1000 watts a piece. When we get the stuff that we need to hook them all up, I'm going to finish this video. Okay, we're going to start a new update. This thing right here just plugged into a 12 volt lighter, which is here, right at the top here. The plug that I'm running it from is 12 volts, 10 amps. And as you see, it takes it down to 11.79 volts. And this booster here, which is a beast for being so small, boosted up around 27. Okay, so we can tell by the number that goes on here. It's right at now is at 24.6, and it's putting back into the grid about 50 volts, 53, 56. It fluctuates. Okay, so I wanted to take these batteries and put them in parallel, I believe, to charge up both batteries. So we're going to test that. We're going to turn on our meter, and we're going to test the battery here. And the battery will read, let's get this thing. Well, my hand's in the way. Let's take this down, put this here, and so we can see the meter. So the meter reads 39.4. That battery is full. And I had them in conjunction. And let's read the battery. The battery reads right there 36.5. Okay? And this right here 4300 or 4,300 milliamps means that this is 43 amps battery. Okay, I'm gonna hold that for a minute. And you're only supposed to charge the maximum, if you can see that, at 42 volts. Now I put this up, the meter, let's set it, and it says 30 amps because this right here says don't go over that 42 volts. So I put it at 30, and if we go down, there it goes. I only wanted to use 5 of the 10 amps available. Okay, so what's test so you can see this. I wanted to show you that. I'm going to unplug the bottom of this. Let's unplug you. Okay. Now that is unplugged. That means this is off. It's not taking any power. And you can see 12 volts and 30 volts. So it's 12 volts coming in from the plug, or what you call it, simulated solar. It's boosting it up to 30, where it says 29. It goes, fluctuates, and then the amps don't read anything because it's not drawing any amps. Okay, so that means that that plug is working. We know we got that 12 volts there, and the boost is working. So when it starts to plug this back in, draw power, you now have this thing saying, okay, I see 29 here. That 29 is going to go down once this machine kicks on, and it's going to start drawing power and sending it back to the grid because we already boosted it. Okay, so I wanted to keep those batteries in parallels to charge. And a funny thing happened as soon as this kicks in. See, it's kicking in now. It's starting to go up. You see it's going down because these two numbers right here, what's going into it and what's going out of it. So that's 23. And then that's going to climb. And you'll see that says 23, 25, what's name. So you see that it's boosting it up to that point. Now we're over a 40 because we can only get to 46 last time. We're at 50 now. So this thing can do much better. Remember, this is a 1,000. This is a 1,000-watt inverter. So let's see. Let's take this down. What happens while charging? This means this is going to charge this battery. And I had them hooked up and it just didn't do what it did before because I had them both hooked up. We're going to now put the batteries in sync with this. So we're going to scoot this over just a little bit. And so we can see what happens if we take one of these batteries and plug it in. So let's see what happens to the meter. Okay. Oh, we up 100, 200. The fan kicks on for the heat. Look at that. We're at 6, 8. I wanted to document that. Let me plug into the second battery. $9.80. It's stabilizing. $30.8 volts are going in, and it's giving us 980 watts going back into our grid. The fans kick in just to hold the power out of those batteries. Now we're going to run this for a while to see how long, because those batteries, even though they're being charged at the same time as giving off energy, how long will it run this way? And then I'll come back and give you an update if the batteries empty out, because like I said, 12 volts is going through here. You see it's charging at 29, 30 amps. This is what it's charging. It's stable when we got both batteries running, and all that power is kicking into this thing, giving us around 979 watts going into our grid. The number over here is the grid is saying is 122. That was at its highest. So this is why we do our experiments. Not everyone is going to see this conversion, and I want to take this off the stand here so we can fully see the whole conversion. So we got 12 here, and now let's go over here and pick up this plug. This is the plug, the adapter, okay, and it runs around here. Let's pull that up, and it puts all that energy around here to here. Okay? And when it gets done going through the batteries here and being boosted, going through the batteries and hitting this is what it achieves at 12 volts. So I'm going to monitor it, make sure I'm not burning up anything, because like I said, you see the fans kick on. These fans down here kick on, trying to keep this cool, because it is almost at its peak. I mean, 800 and saying, okay, 900. Remember, this is 1,000 watts, and it said really don't push it that hard. So the fans are dying down. I can hear them. I want to make sure these things don't overheat, or it doesn't okay, now the batteries are getting warm. The batteries are getting warm, and that means the energy is going down because it's being dissipated. And like I say, I'm going to keep an eye on this to see if this configuration is actually safe for everything. Even though I know it works, you still have to make sure that it doesn't overheat. The power cords don't overheat. Okay, so the power cord is over there. I want to make sure this doesn't overheat, because again, we're running at that 12 volts. Okay, I want to make sure it's not kicking back into it to achieve this. I want this thing. Now the batteries are being drained because that energy is going down, and that's okay. That means, I can smell the heat. So we're going to make sure that this is not going to be too hot. It's not going to overload. And we're going to see how long we can keep this going. I will get back with you with further updates. I just want to make sure, because these lithium batteries do have a tendency to overheat and explode. I just want to make sure that it's safe. Now I just went down to 7. So when I hooked it up before, I hooked it up in a different order and it didn't do this. So one of the things I'm going to do is unhook the top of here. I do not like when these batteries get that warm, so that's just me. Oh, and the cords are hot. So you see it went down to 0 because I unplugged it. Just a little warm for me. These batteries got really, really warm, but it did put out the energy that I wanted to do. And these cords, oh, way too many amps. That means I got to get a thicker cord, because it's like rubber. Way too heavy, so I got to get thicker cords. So when I redo this and rehook this up, because of all the amperage in it, I think I'm going to use cords like that. Very much thicker cords. And I got a couple cords before I finish running that. It is still charging the batteries. and the heat has gone down much. So it was overworking. Overworking these batteries. So I'm going to work on that to keep these batteries much cooler. But we got documented on exactly when you put power, that means step up, step down, and we stepped it down with this cord. Let's get the cord info. Okay, we stepped it down, we stepped it up, and then we stored it with these batteries. So these batteries went in a row. So when both of them are hooked up, both of them charge simultaneously, and it gives off its energy in there while charging. Now, this thing done too good of a job doing it in that thing, because now everything got really hot. Okay, so I took the batteries off because those, like I said, I think it was what we have to do is charge them way down. And that's what they're saying. If you charge these things too fast, they tend to catch on fire. So one of the things I'm going to do is set and bring that way down. We can't go to 12. So I'm going to do that and say okay. So I'll get a chance to let those cool down, and then I'm going to put it back on there because I wanted to change that number, and you see me change it here. I don't know if my hand was in the way. I changed it to 13. I wanted to bring that way down. Okay, so that's what it will charge at. Even though it's at 12, it'll charge only at 13, just to give these batteries time to cool. And then I'll see, because these wires are now cool to the touch. Let's see if I can plug them in. Okay, and okay, 13. See it? 13. So this batteries are charging at 13. If it gets warm, I'm going to unplug them again, because it's just too much power going in them. I had them all the way up to 30, and remember, it says 42. You shouldn't go charge them over 42 volts. That means you're really fast charging them. And we don't need to do that, because I really don't need to run this thing at 800 or 900 or anything like that. I just wanted to document it that I could get it up there with just two batteries that are charging. So that did it. It cooled it off much better. Much better. So they are charging. The voltage is stable because it's not going in and out. So let's see if we take some power off those batteries. Okay. Okay. Says 12 volts. Let's see if that kicks back in. Okay, we knocked that power down quite a bit. So it's still saying it's too low power. Just to see, we put too much power, but we got this hooked back up. I think we got this hooked back up. We may have to do the sequence of unplugging it to get it to reset. So let's see. We unplug it and okay. It says 12 volts. 12 volts will not run this thing, and that's 12 volts here. We put this down to 13. And 13 volts is just not going to do it. So we have to really play around with this thing, because 13 volts is, it has to be at 22 at most. So I don't know if these batteries can handle 22. So let's do this. We're going to set it, and we're going to go up. That's 24. I don't want to go that high. I want to be right at 22. We're at 23. The amps can stay the same, because that thing is fast when it goes down. Okay, 22. I'm going to bring it halfway, around 50. Okay. And okay. Let's see if that brings it up. Oh, we got to 21, so that should kick in. And you can see that number right there, and that number does correlate. So we should kick in. Let's unplug this first. Okay. And let that kick in. And it's not kicking in. So no wattage is actually going into the grid yet. Well, we will come back and see if I can get this working in order. So give me a minute. Okay, we got it back to normal. Took a long time for this to kick in and work. I thought I broke it. But you see a lot of people on YouTube who talks about these things right here to only run it at 50 to 60% of its capacity. As you see, I got it up 800 and more, just putting on those two small batteries. Again, this was all about taking this, coming into here, boosting it, okay, and then after you boost it, you can see that it settles around here, even though it's set at 37 right now, okay, and that set only puts out around 26 volts, and then you see this putting 53 back into the grid. Again, putting those batteries on there, sending it up to 800 and higher, or it can do it, but they say don't, because it doesn't make this last long. So it took a long time for it to switch over. Kind of scary. So what we got to do is put face, some kind of mechanism that will kick that off or not let it overcharge. And those batteries that I got are still quite warm. So I can't charge it at this level right here where it says 37 now. I cannot charge it at that level. So I have to figure out how to take these batteries, charge them, let the energy pass through them because this is pass through charging, and still send it up. I only needed 100 and something, and getting higher than 100 and something is not where I want it. So it did too well, and I need to break that down. So again, we're still doing an experiment. I just wanted to document that. And then we're going back to our old experiments. That was our assignment, to make something that we can sell. I'll paint the back of these. I'm just getting the tapes and the strips, and I'll cut these strips into little forms, all uniform. And then we will have our electrostatic battery. And like I said, I'm going to make quite a few of these, and then we will be finishing up that project. For those who are with me, I'm working on these things. Let's see what you guys can do. I'm doing my part. So let's set that, and we're back to our functions. Let's see if any of these batteries have cooled down to, well, that one is much, much cooler. I don't think it'll do what it did last time, but we're going to test it. Oh, 80. It's 100. 200. The fan kicked on. Come on. Nope. 600, 800. Woo, that was scary. The phone rang. So I'll answer the phone and we're going to end the video right now. Thanks a lot, you guys.